guys, what's going on? It's your boy Jay Rana. Welcome to the Jay Rana Show. Today I have the pleasure of introducing Neil Desai, one of the greatest minds, business minds I know, one of the greatest entertainers I know, from dope player to MC to DJ. God knows, this guy is a jack of all trades. Neil, what's going on, bro?
What's up, dude? Thank you for the wonderful introduction.
Absolutely, you deserve it, my man.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. It's been a long time in the game, like over 15 years.
Yeah.
This is actually the first time we're on camera, though, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah,
so it's
man,
a very different experience. So
absolutely,
thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely, bro. Like being on camera is one thing, right? Like we're on stage every single weekend, right? We have 300-400 people looking at us, staring at us, looking at the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we engage with the audience.
Yeah.
You know, when you're behind the mic here, it's a little bit different, right? Like when I first had my first podcast, I was a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
Didn't know what to do. Didn't know how to talk. I had to do 2-3 takes over the same 5 sentences.
Yeah.
It was the funniest thing, right? And like even just now, we did like 10 takes just for 10 seconds, you know? But it's part of it. Like I'm sure as we move forward, we'll get better and better engaging with the audience, sharing the whole world of the podcast.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like today, dude, thanks for having me on, obviously, as I was saying before. But I think you're doing a great thing here because, you know, we get to actually tell our story. A lot of people don't see that when we're doing reception, or whatever the case we're doing. It kind of becomes like a format, and obviously we can't really tell all. And a lot of people, when we're doing these events, people don't know what's really happening behind the scenes and kind of the experiences that we've had over the last, like, for me, it's been 15 years. For you, it's been like 20 plus, right? And I think a lot of that gets lost.
20 plus years, just dated me, bro.
I dated myself too, right?
True that.
I dated myself too.
Bro.
Yeah.
I've been in the game for over 20 years.
Yeah.
You know, wearing all these different hats.
Yeah.
Started off as the DJ, going into hosting.
Yeah.
Hosting was a huge thing for me too, because it also helped me with my speech impairment as well, right? I'm going into wedding coordinator, planning. There's something new I'm working on. I'll talk to you more about that in a bit.
Yeah.
But like you said, it's a different experience, right? Like different stories that you guys have. It's a whole new perception, you know, as an entertainer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then, dude, like this thing, it's also like we get to be so transparent here. A lot of times, you know, if we're, you know, talking to a bride or groom, I mean, I try to be transparent with them as well, but you cannot, you have to always stay in bounds, right?
Yeah.
There's
no bounds here.
Yeah. There's no bounds here, right? I'm wearing a Mets jersey. So
no diggity.
That's great.
Yo, fuck that shit, bro. Cause over here, it's going to be unfiltered.
Yeah, dude.
And you know what you said before, that you're glad that someone's doing this.
Yeah.
100%. There was a need for it.
Yeah.
You know, the South Asian industry, bro, it's a multi-billion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
And we have a voice sporadically here and there, but not that's a togetherness. There's no togetherness, you know. I think that's also a Desi thing.
Yeah.
You know, like as far as the support system and like all
that's
that
your
stuff.
thing, dude. You were talking about no Nazar, right? So
Nazar's huge.
There's a lot of Nazar, dude. I felt like the reason why I've kind of kept my stuff, like I've stayed in my lane to a certain extent.
Yeah.
In terms of, you know, my company and not, you know, blasting people with media of where I've been or the types of events I've done. It's because I wanted to stay away from that Nazar.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
You know, it's like a double-edged sword though, bro. Because like, you know, you're so talented in so many ways.
Yeah.
You've done so many major events.
Yeah.
And not just Indian events, but
non-Indian events. Yeah.
Major events. Like I seen your stuff, celebrities all day, right? And you can't really talk about it too much because you're afraid of the Nazar behind it.
Yeah.
Does that hinder your growth in any possible way?
I think like I just think about it really differently. So when I think about like online marketing, I think that you're staying within your group of followers or your network. So think about like the election, right? So most people, you know, when Trump was getting elected in like 2016, right?
Yeah.
Lots of stuff was coming, Russia, right? So that Russia stuff was all targeted toward, okay, you're in blue states, northeastern cities and stuff like that. So I think the same way, like where things are so targeted, I think my audience is much I think I reach more audiences, right?
Okay.
And I think within the wedding industry, it's fine if, you know, they don't know Neil Desai is in like Bermuda or something. That's totally cool, right? I know I'm there and I'm connecting with the people at that wedding and I'm targeting those people, right? Or let's say one of their friends or one of their family members is getting married in the future, they're going to reach out to me directly.
I always say every client, every family is an account.
You gotta be in with the family. I was the biggest believer in, you know, relationships matter.
100%.
So I always like my method of, I guess, marketing or like showing off my talent or my book of work was always like, okay, I want to talk to the cousin. I want to make friends with like the mom or the uncle, like whatever the case is, right? Like that's what's worked for me, I would say.
And it's been working great.
And it's been working, right? And the reality is like no one bothers me. to a certain extent. Like
Yeah.
I don't need 50 million people to, talk about me. It's cool
100%.
as long as I'm doing good
Out of
work.
those 50 million people,
Yeah.
49 million people are going to talk shit.
They're gonna talk shit. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it
Yeah.
happens all the
Yeah,
time.
dude.
And it's unfortunate, I want to say, right? Because there's so much talent out there. We do so much good. I mean, we're part of everyone's very best day.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, there's high energy, there's high love. There's a lot of people who are, that's their first wedding.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's their second wedding, who gives a shit? But
Yeah.
that's their best day.
That's their best day. But also, like, what I'm thinking is like people don't realize how much like stress we have to take, right? Because
Yeah.
the reality, we really like I really care about like every single one
It's
I do.
admirable, bro. Good job.
And like big, small, in between, whatever the case is, right?
Yeah.
I've come to realize I'm like, this is my reputation online every single time you step
And
out
you're
there.
in all their videos.
You're in all their
You're
videos.
in all their pictures.
Yeah.
You're in all of their memories.
Yeah.
That's a big step. And filling those shoes
Yeah.
comes with a lot of
Responsibility.
responsibilities. You
Yo,
took the words out of
it's
my
a
mouth.
huge
Good
dude.
job.
It's a huge responsibility, and like you've seen me basically grow up, right? If you think
I
about
did
it.
see you
So
grow
like
up.
you actually legitimately saw me grow up. So the guys, however the angle's taking it, right? The second wedding I did in my life, that was with Jayesh actually, right? So I started.
Did you say Jay?
I said Jayesh, yeah. So not many people know, right? So we started. So let me just quickly let me give you a quick backstory.
So my name is Jayesh Rana. That's my government name.
yes.
Jayesh Rana.
Yes,
Everybody calls me Jay. Jay Rana.
So the funny thing is like it's like when you and this is what I'm saying, relationships matter, right? So like
Yeah.
the second wedding I did, whatever, right? So like that was when Excelsior was in Marlboro, New Jersey on Route 9.
Okay.
So that was the second
That was the old Grand Marquis.
something like that, yeah.
So that's the Grand Marquis,
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
I do remember
something
that.
something like that, yeah. So like that wedding, he's like, oh, Jayesh is like, oh, I'm from Passaic, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh wait, how old are you? And then he's like, oh, I'm not gonna say how old he was at the time, whatever the case is, right? I'm like,
Old
oh,
enough.
old enough, right? So I'm like, oh, my cousin is around the same age as you, right? And I'm like, oh, do you know my cousin Poonam, right?
Yeah.
So my cousin, and he's like, oh, where are you from? I'm like, oh, I'm from Passaic, dude. I grew up in Passaic,
Born
blah
and
blah blah,
raised,
right?
baby. Born and
Shout out
raised.
to Passaic, New Jersey, because
all day.
shout out to
Corner of-
Passaic, New Jersey, by the way.
corner of Meade and Gregory.
So
That was the block.
I was in Passaic Park, so it's a little bit different. But
that was the bougie town. Though.
that was a bougie town, dude, for what it's
Yeah.
worth, right?
There was a lot
So-
of grass over there.
we had a
from
little
what
bit
I
of grass.
remember.
We had a little bit of grass, yeah, dude. No, dude, Gregory Avenue, Paulson Avenue. But yeah, nonetheless, like,
Shout out to Passaic, bro. You can't beat the Northern Jersey edge.
dude, you got the Toyota Camry. That's like a 1985 Toyota Camry. The muffler's gone on the car, and it's
With
just
the rims, but it
with
got
the with the rims, and the car's going like
And a box. And a box in the back.
and the box in the back, dude. So it's like these kind of memories, like it's about relating to people, right?
Yeah.
So when I met him again, right? So the Passaic connection was there. He knew my cousin. He knew my aunt Maya Kaki. So
I know pretty much half your family.
he knows like
members.
half my family, right? So it's like it was just really interesting. So I made the the relationship and connection with Jay, right?
Yeah.
And he actually even before that, your cousins. So I know most of your cousins, right?
You know, most of my older cousins.
Yeah.
My younger cousins, man.
Your younger cousins actually,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
that's
Bob,
right, that's right.
Bob. So
What's up, Bhavesh? I see you,
What's
bro.
up, Bob? What up? What up? So like, Bob, I knew when I was in Rutgers
Yeah.
freshman year. So they were in the suites as well. I was a freshman; they were sophomores.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, he used to call you Jayesh Bhai. So the first time I kept calling you Jayesh Bhai for like mad long, dude. If you remember.
Only one person's call. There's only one person that calls me Jayesh, and that's your cousin.
Yeah.
That's your cousin Poonam. She
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
call
yeah.
me anything else but that name.
Yeah.
There's a few other people, but she was the preferred person. I've always said, stop calling me by my government
yeah.
name. There's no need for that
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
sound mad fobby.
It's mad fobby, but
is.
it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. It's
It's
okay,
okay. It's okay, dude.
But
This
that's
is
what we-
unfiltered. You know what I mean? This is a
Has to be
family show,
unfiltered.
guys. So
it's gonna be a family
yeah,
show.
it's just. I mean, like that's why this thing is so great. Like people don't realize like all the interconnectedness, even with the vendors too, dude.
It's a small.
It's a
fucking
small world,
bro.
dude.
It is.
Yeah,
like
dude.
everybody knows each other very, very well. Like they say that birds of a feather flock together.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a strong believer in that.
Yeah.
Like-minded people will always
Yeah.
come together. And being a vendor in this industry,
Yeah.
you gotta have your on straight.
yeah,
Female or male. I mean, you gotta have your shit together.
Yeah, you gotta have
I
your
mean,
shit
if you're
together,
gonna
yeah.
make a dent in this industry whatsoever, number one, you gotta be professional.
Yeah.
Number two, your work has to speak for itself.
yeah.
If it doesn't speak for itself, then you're gonna have a turnaround life of what, 2 years?
Yeah, I mean,
Shelf
a
life?
lot of people, dude. Like we've seen. All right, so I was like when I was started, I was like, yo, one of the youngest people, right? And
Yeah.
like I kind of came up the ropes, and I've done my stuff, seen what I had to see. I don't want to speak hyperbole of where I've been and what
Yeah.
I've done. But you also see people on the flip side too, where their shelf life is, hey, maybe they're on like a TV show or something like that, and they try to become a vendor, and how many times? Okay, yeah, waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning with 3 hours of sleep.
It's work.
that's work, right? So like people don't realize how much tenacity you need, I would say, to do this and to have the longevity.
And it's not made for everybody.
It's definitely not made for everybody, dude.
You know,
Definitely not made for
I
everybody.
seen a lot of people that came up hard and they burnt out so quick.
Yeah.
You know, and like you said, it's the longevity. I'm in it for the long game.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been in the game since I was 21.
Yeah.
In 2001.
J.O., right? What was it? J.O.?
Jay Rana. It's like I have a cousin by the name of Jay Rana, and
Yeah.
that's his
Yeah.
real name. My
Yeah.
real name is not obviously Jay.
Yeah.
But so forth and so on. But there's a couple of dudes in Canada.
Yeah.
Jay Rana. There's a dude in California, Jay Rana, and you reached out to me because of my platforms.
Yeah.
And they follow me and they love this bro. They love the fact that they get mistaken for the name Jay Rana,
Yeah.
and they love that shit because it comes with a little bit of prestige, I want to say.
Yeah.
And I also tell them, listen, that's cool and dandy, but that name also comes with a lot of responsibilities,
Yeah.
you know, and expectations. I mean, and that's with branding
Yeah.
itself.
But yeah, back to like, you know, the longevity game. And like,
Yeah.
you've obviously seen people come like for 2 years.
I seen a whole
They pushed mad hard.
Yeah.
And then, okay, you do this for like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, right? And then you burn out. Or
and then what do you do?
what do you do then, right?
You go get a corporate job. You
Yeah.
go get a corporate job.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you do. Like, if you want to be in this game full time, right? Being in this game full time is definitely hard, right?
Yeah.
It's an emotional roller coaster. I'm telling you, because you have your good days, your bad days.
Yeah.
You're on peak, you're off peak, your money's good. Like, there's some weekends you're making like what? 30, 40K, right? And you're living the life. I mean, you have
I haven't made
time.
30, 40K in a weekend, just to say that. But I
You're
mean,
gonna
over
get
the
there.
duration of the year, you can do all right. The
Yeah,
numbers add up
absolutely.
and stuff like that.
And then that's gonna be for one particular weekend, right?
Yeah.
And you're on top of the world.
Yeah.
Then the next 2 months, you're like what, at 5K? You're like, now what do you do, right? It's a dopamine
Yeah,
spike.
it's. I mean, the whole business is very seasonal, right? You have to
Yeah.
understand the ebbs and flows of it.
So
right?
it's all money management at that
it's.
point.
I mean, it's calendar management, right?
Okay.
Okay, so
I
like
like
for
how you
example,
put that, calendar management.
it's calendar management because you have to think about it, right? So like I always did the math, right? Like I really have been disciplined over, you know, with the numbers and you know what works, what doesn't work, blah blah blah. So I was like, okay, fine, 8 to 9 months, you're gonna do all right. So like, okay, let's say April, May, basically April until October, right?
Yeah.
And then December is very light, and then January is light. February is light, March is light. Now I think things have changed because you have a lot more destination weddings coming in.
Yeah.
So I try to stay away from destination weddings like pretty much May until September-ish, right?
Well, you have your on peak and your off peak, right?
Yeah.
So in the
So-
tri-state area when
yeah.
it's on,
Yeah.
you're going to be off in the
Yeah.
Miami area.
Yeah.
Right. That's why I be going to Miami,
Yeah.
as well. So when I'm slow up here, I go down there, and vice versa.
Yeah, vice versa. Yeah. So like I think that's the thing, right? So if you balance it out, if you
What
really
about your vacation time?
vacation time I use on this, right? So
You gotta have vacation time. man.
I'm one of the few people I haven't really taken I mean, I've been working pretty much very aggressively for the last since 2010, realistically.
I see,
I've not a lot of
your
people.
growth. I see your growth. Very good for you, bro. Good job.
I'm not talking about just DJ. I'm talking about in like life in
Yeah.
general, right? I'm gonna probably stay away from that side of things on this podcast, but we'll probably stick more toward DJing.
Sure.
But
Whatever
I
you're
think,
comfortable
yeah,
with.
yeah, dude. I mean, I think you know my background really well.
Yeah.
I think of
Like I said, a great business mind. And don't let it fool you, man. This guy is a shark.
yeah, no. I think one of the reasons and the motivation to do this, right? You have to really. Why are you doing this, right?
You
The
gotta have a reason.
You have to have a reason, right? I always knew what my reason was, and I still know what my reason is to keep doing this, right? When we were talking about the people that have been doing it for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, those people are looking for fame,
Yeah.
right? Oh, I want to build up my IG. I want to have like 30,000, 40,000, 100,000 followers. You know, I've seen IG accounts with 20,000 followers. You're getting 200 likes or 250 likes. And I'm like, why are you guys not have gigs?
Do you think that all these people with all these likes and all these followers, I mean, it's all purchased?
I think the followers are purchased, and I think a lot of them are bots, right?
Okay.
I've done a lot of like I've peeled the onion back in terms of Instagram too, right?
Yeah.
How valuable is it? What's the actual benefit of it?
Yeah. Is
So-
it beneficial?
I think it's beneficial to a certain extent if you want clout,
Okay.
but it doesn't tell you anything about performance.
No,
right?
I'm talking about like, is it beneficial to put money in your bank?
For me, it hasn't been, right?
Okay.
I've had other channels in terms of how I marketed.
Okay.
I think after 15 years, you build a book of business, right?
I
Enough
feel like
people,
it's all relationships.
Yeah,
It
it's
has
all
to be
rela- yeah.
relationships.
right? So yeah, back to the point on Instagram, I'm like, yo, dude, you have 20,000 followers, or hey, girl, you have like 5,000 followers or 6,000 followers, and you have 200 to 250 likes, but you have no gigs.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
But it does, really, right? Because a lot of the followers are actually bots. They're not real people.
With that said, like even with all these followers and all that good stuff, some of these activations on Instagram, for example, to subscribe.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to subscribe, if you want to do private subscriptions, you got to have a minimum of 10,000 followers. You could buy those followers just to go into that direction.
Yeah.
Right. Also, if you want to just swipe up and go directly to a link, you got to have a minimum of 10,000 followers, I believe. Right. So you could purchase that. It's a business move.
Yeah.
Right.
It's I think it's called micro influencer or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of what it is. I mean, I've seen so many people just like, it's like obsessive to a certain extent. For me, it doesn't make a difference in my bottom line, to be honest. I think I'm comfortable with, whatever numbers I'm getting every year.
I'm sure you've seen growth.
I've seen growth. I mean,
hell yeah. Growth. Shit.
Dude, hell yeah, I've seen growth, right?
I got bills to pay, God damn it.
I mean, the growth came in different ways, right? I think, as we were saying before, like the relationships really matter. Authenticity matters. Your integrity matters. Do you take the thing seriously? How are you actually as a performer? When somebody's emceeing, I've seen some trash MCs. They don't know how to, when you're doing a 3, 2, 1 countdown, they're doing 3, 2, 1, and it's not like the beat's even dropping.
You got to know your music.
You have to know your music.
I talk about that as an MC, right? I talked about this previously, and I talk about this with my other MCs as well because I train, right? You got to know your music. If you don't know your music, you're going to talk at the wrong time. Don't talk over any vocals. Because this is clout. Because if you're talking and I'm talking, is this going to be a bunch of jumbled words?
Right?
What the fuck is happening?
Dude, a lot of people just say, put your hands up, put your hands up, put your hands up.
My hands are tired.
I'm like, yo, my hands are tired, dude. And like the song is going like 120, 130 BPM. I'm like, I can't keep doing this like nonstop. You know what I mean?
My hands are tired.
But yeah, alone. it's just how it's how you find your audience. Everybody has an audience. I really believe that.
Yeah.
Some people like me, some people like you, some people like somebody else, right?
And you know what? I say this that we're not for everybody. Like I know for a fact I am not for everybody. I get a lot more no's than I get yeses. My prices are significantly higher than the market rate, I want to say. But there's a reason behind that, right? There's a lot more work I put into it, the vibes I create. So I was actually told that by an event planner in the Chicago area, right? Mirage International.
Okay.
It's a good friend of mine. She was like, Jay, listen, you are not for everyone. Understand that and you will be fine. And she told me this, it blew my mind. And she was right. Because I'm not, because there's a different personality, right? There's so many entertainment companies out there, right? They can range from your backyard DJs to your corporate gigs and everything in between. I feel like when you're rocking with the wedding scene, it's a different caliber of entertainment. And I use that word very strongly, entertainment, You're not just a DJ. A club DJ is a club DJ.
Oh, it's a totally different game.
You can't rock a wedding.
Club DJ, right? Like my thoughts on club DJing, right? There's way less pressure.
Yeah, because you're not worried about the crowd.
Dude, you don't give a crap about the crowd. Like a
just
lot of these,
mix.
Indian events, right? I think you've been noticing as well, right? Like lots more Indian events in the city now, right? For example. But when you actually go to these events, there's no like, people are not dancing. You understand what I'm saying? Like when we're at a wedding reception, we have pressure to make the people dance or follow the, hey dude, you gotta okay, this is what the bride and groom want, right? This is their vision and we have to follow through with that vision, whether we like the song or whether we don't like the song, right? At a club you can be like, yo, you want to play Dirty Disco, dude, go for it. You know what I mean? Like, so it's there's like zero pressure in a club. I feel like the pressure of, okay, what happens if something goes wrong, right? Do you have a backup plan? Do you have a backup A, backup C, D, whatever? Like, you're just kind of,
as a DJ in a club,
dude, you don't have to deal with that at all, right? There's zero pressure, and that's why the money is different too, right?
Yeah, you don't get paid that much.
So here's a quick announcement. So when you're DJing in the club, like the pay is it's very minimal. You go to the clubs for fame, right? But the clubs, it's going to take a long time to buy your whatever you're trying to buy. I'll just put it that way.
I get it. Like even as a DJ, because I started this whole thing off as a DJ, right? There's a certain skill set that you got to have, right? Even though I'm rocking and I'm seeing 300-400 party people, right? Like in weddings with that many people, I still DJ 40 the birthday party, like a house party, just to keep my skill set sharp. Because you have to. Because I started this whole thing off of what? DJing.
Dude, that Denon mixer, you had
The
the big
2600
ass
F?
box, dude. I remember, yeah.
Yeah, that 2600F, that was nice. I started off with, I was actually one of the first guys to actually mix on records. That's crazy, right? The first records I ever mixed was a Percolator and a Witch Doctor.
Okay.
It was my boy's house. Simeon Jones. What up, Simeon? Simeon
Dude,
Jones.
Percolator. I remember Akash. So I had you remember that, the old crew we had, right?
Yeah.
So I remember he used to do Percolator into Sweet Dreams.
Nice.
It was back, I think, was that maybe Volcanic used to do that too, I think, actually.
I think I'm gonna get Volcanic on and ask him personally.
Yeah.
Volcanic, I'm coming for you, bro. I need you on the show. All right, check your calendar, bro. Every Tuesdays.
But it's, dude, like, going back, it's like you always think, like, how many people have we met through this, right? I think a lot of this has become our social life, to be honest, right?
It is. It became our social life, and it became our second family.
Yeah.
And that's something you want to think about too, right? Like relationships, right? Like I'm friends with you. I'm friends with a lot of my vendor friends, and we're hanging out all the time, right? So that gray area, like, what do you do with that gray area?
There's no gray area anymore.
Really?
You know everybody's business. Dude,
Okay.
we know everybody's business. Trust me, and you know that too.
How do you feel about that?
It's fine.
Is it?
I think, again, I'm fully transparent. I
Yeah.
think, going back to the motivation thing, it's like, okay, dude, I know where I came from, right? I knew my goal when I was younger was to get out of that environment.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that? You have to work, you make money, it turned into, materialized into certain things. That's why I stayed doing this so long.
Yeah.
Because
Plus, you love what you do.
I love what I do.
I mean, you have to love what you do to be in it for that long and still be good at it and
Yeah.
continue to grow as well, right?
I mean, I thought about it, like, when I was doing this, I kind of made a decision in, like, so 2013, that's when I was like, okay, like 2013, I was like, okay, I'm going to go freelance, right?
Yeah.
Freelance. So before, I was part of a crew, right? So we had a great team back in the day. Some of my best friends and stuff like that, unfortunately didn't work out. Different personalities. I'll just leave, you kind of know the whole backstory there.
Absolutely.
From that crew, I think I'm probably the only one that does a real solo kind of front to back operation.
Yeah.
I think I busted my ass off. And I think that whole story.
Yeah, I know the whole story.
But yeah, so like,
You can share it here if you want.
nah, it's fine, whatever.
Okay,
I'm
next time.
going to share that, we're driving back overnight from Pittsburgh with a truss on one side of my head and a projection screen on the left.
Gotta love those long travel
The
dates,
6-hour
man.
drives. But yeah, dude, like, going back to the point, I'm like, the motivation was there to do this for the long term. And, obviously it paid for certain things in my life. I met a lot of people and I built relationships. And I guess going back to your point, it's like, okay, this is the reality, right? So you're going to keep doing this for a long time. When you're doing a full day wedding, by the way, here's another thing, right? So you're 7:00 in the morning, you're going to see Harry Pandya taking pictures of the bride.
Harry, what's up, bro?
What up, Harry, dude? What up, Harry? You're going to see Harry Pandya taking pictures of the bride, or you're going to see like an uncle, like, just snooping around like this, right? Just like trying to see what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, it's essentially like a family, right? We know everyone's business. They know our business. It's fully transparent to a certain extent.
I think you have to be. I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to be successful
Yeah.
in this industry, right? Being talented, that's
Yeah.
definitely part of it.
That's part of it, yeah.
But you gotta have the relationships.
Yes.
I mean, and plus you want to be transparent, like you said, and you want to be human.
Yeah.
You can't have an ego. If you have an ego, forget about it. You're not going to be here for a while.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to work with you if you have
Yeah.
an ego. Like, who the fuck are you?
I still remember, dude, back in the days, you told me, you're like, I rather take reliability and professionalism over talent any day.
100%.
115%.
Yeah,
Right?
bro. That's the recipe for success.
Yeah.
That's the recipe for longevity
Yeah.
and a successful rate, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
that's exactly what you
That's
need.
longevity, dude. Longevity is legit based on, dude, are you professional? Are you reliable?
You just got to show up.
You have to show up.
You got to show up. You could be as good as you want, right?
Yeah.
But if you're not there,
If you're not there, yeah.
then what's the point?
No point.
You could be I have my tiers, right? My tier 1 and my tier 2. You could be a tier 1 DJ, but if you're not showing up,
Yeah.
then what's the point? I'll take a tier 2 any day because guess what? They're gonna learn.
Dude, we had tier 1 again, right? Like, when you're going back to the point of, okay, it's also like, again, the fully transparency, being there, reliability,
Yeah.
professionalism, all that stuff, right? It's like, we've had tier 1 DJs that were some of the biggest names, and unfortunately, maybe they had a mental health illness, or maybe they got sick, or they just couldn't handle I think you know who I'm referring to.
Well, those are shoes you gotta
right. So
like
like
in a
that's
field,
that's the
right?
thing, right? So that's it's a lot of pressure and stress,
Yeah.
right? So
That is a lot of pressure because number one, you have to perform, right? And they have expectations. The crowd's gonna have expectations, right? So if you're gonna fill those shoes, I always say this: the shoes are there. If you're gonna grow, the shoes are there for you.
yeah,
Put your feet in there, right? But now you have to lace up. And when you lace up, that's expectations and responsibilities. If you're not up for that challenge, don't put the shoes on. Stay exactly where you are, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that either. But when you're tired of it, when you're still growing, and if those shoes are getting tight and tight on your feet, and you're still fucking growing, time to step up,
yeah.
right? But at the same time, understand that that's going to come with responsibilities, and at the end of the day, you got to step up, man.
And I think that's where, like, when you're talking about the reliability and all that kind of stuff, I think that's where I helped. So obviously I've been working, me and Mike have been working together for so many years now.
Yeah.
You know, whether people know it's behind the scenes or whatever the case is, right? And here's also a quick secret: like, everybody works together. Everybody works together.
You have to.
For bride and grooms that don't know this, we all know each other. We know each other really well. You know, that's kind of point blank.
Yeah.
We know what weddings are happening, where they're happening. That's just one of the secrets, I guess.
It's not really a secret, right? Because like,
I don't think people realize that though, right? Because like, so I've been
like, you mean the clients?
yeah, but let me go back to the Mike thing, right?
Yeah.
So fine, right? Like, I think on his thing where they're lacking, right, for a few years was that the reliability aspect of it, right? And how to polish it, right? I think I was able to polish more of it, definitely on the sales side, right?
Yeah.
Like, speaking to people, are you authentic in what you're saying? Do you make sense? Are you in line with pricing? All that kind of stuff, right? That's kind of where I helped out. Obviously, you need somebody. I never say I'm a talented guy or whatever. Like, I always say, like, you know, I've just put in the time. I'll always just say, dude, I've been doing this for a long time. I never say I'm the best. Mentally, I
never say you're the best.
I never
say that.
I never say that, actually, right? Internally,
unless you mean it.
I'll be totally honest, right? Like, internally, I feel like, okay, I can rip it, right? Like, personally, like, performance level, I really feel like I can rip it, but I'll never tell somebody, oh yeah, I'll never tell a client, oh, I'm the best, like, XYZ or blah blah. I just say, hey, you know, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been to XYZ venue, and that's kind of. And then obviously you want to work with them, right?
Yeah.
Too. You want to be authentic and, hey, like, I'm going to take care of your event the right way.
You got to connect with your clients.
Yeah, you have to connect with. I think there's no faking the connection, right?
Yeah.
That's one of the things I realized as well. It's like, I guess it's like dating too, but
You got to be genuine, man.
yeah, you have to be genuine, right? That's what's worked for me.
Yeah.
Over the last since I've basically been on my own for 10 years, I would say.
Absolutely. Like you got to be genuine in a way, right? You could be a type A personality.
Yeah.
You could be a type B personality. You could be the most egotistical motherfucker in the world.
Yeah, we had a lot of egotistical motherfuckers.
Who gives
dude.
a shit?
Yeah,
As long as you're genuine,
Yeah.
right? Like, you will find that client, that 1% who's going to love that about you, you know? And they want that. They want that energy on the dance floor.
Yeah.
And that's a spot that needs to be filled.
Yeah.
Right? Just like in the South Asian wedding industry, there was a need for this podcast. So we filled it, you know? And now it's just, now we're going to sit back and see what the reactions are.
Let's see how the edit comes in.
So as far as the editing, right? Editing is fantastic, right? The magic is in editing. We can chop it up for 45 minutes to an hour, even 2 hours. This conversation, bro, can go on for as long as you want, you know, because we're good like that. We know how to have a conversation and we have so many things to talk about. But podcast, the editing, the magic is going to be in editing. You know, when we set up the highlight reels and all that good stuff, plus it's going to be on all the platforms, you know, all that good stuff. So it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
It's going to be nice. But like I was saying before, being genuine, that's part of your success. It has to be part of your success. If you can't, the thing is, you can't fake the funk. You can never fake the funk. No matter who you're talking to, people are on bullshit.
People are not bullshit,
yeah. First of all, it's 2023, right? The bride is smarter. The bride today is smarter than a bride 10 years ago.
Yes.
And so imagine the bride in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years. If you still want to be relevant, you need to reinvent yourself.
Yeah.
And adjust with the times, right? I try to do that all the time. Be relevant, stay plugged in, stay up to date, but at the same time, don't lose yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's your core, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to lose yourself. You can't be a chameleon all the time.
Yeah.
You can't constantly keep on changing.
I think that's where I helped Marfatia, right? So I think Mike has great DJ, amazing DJ, right? But Mike's the man, obviously, right? He's like my therapist to a certain extent. I would describe it like that, right? But yeah, dude, I think where I helped him was probably more on the back end, right?
Yeah.
Streamlining and more, okay, the lead comes in, right? We're not booking the same weddings, by the way. That's a totally different brand, but just giving an example.
Yeah.
Okay, when the lead comes in, like how smooth are you in terms of, okay, how are you selling the client, right? Are you transparent about your offering? Is everything organized? Do you have everything written down on a list, right? So just organization, writing emails the right way, putting together an offering packet, right? And I think a lot of that, I mean, I got that from working, to be honest. Like,
yeah. Do you think that the attention span of the new bride is like slim to none?
I think onboarding, I think the marketing side of it, right? Like when you're presenting a lot of these videos on Instagram, I think they're just flashing lights and the song playing in the background. Dude, the reality is like, okay, like whichever way you take the camera angle, somebody's hands are in the way. It's kind of it's all the same, right? Yeah. I think more of the value now, at least, you know, I put myself in the other situation, right? In somebody else's shoes. I'm like, how is my experience working with this person, right?
Yeah.
Are you in with a certain friend circle, right? So if you go to, let's say, from Rutgers, right? Like from Rutgers, I did, you know, I've gotten some clientele from Rutgers. Obviously, I went to Rutgers. But have you made it smooth? Have you made it like relatively stress-free, right? I can say that, right? Yeah. I can say that, but like, okay, have you done that over and over and over and over again, right?
Yeah, that's kind of what progression.
Yeah, that's kind of how let's say that's how my business grew to certain whatever extent it did. And then certain communities as well, right?
Yeah.
So whatever, yeah, but yeah, that's the long story short. I mean, I think that's where I helped him, not necessarily the music side of things. I learned a lot from him. Like, dude, like these 80s, 90s, 70s, right? Like how to transition.
He's remix king, bro.
Dude, no, but I mean, you learn a lot from people, right? So like when I was coming up, it's like, okay, the first person I really paid attention to was Akash, actually, right?
Nice.
So Akash learned from Volcanic or whatever, got his start or whatever the case is, right? So like, it's okay. Technically speaking, we're going from starting a set at, you know, Mahive, you're kicking off with Mahive, and then you're going to like Shava Shava, Jumbra Jum, whatever, that kind of vibe, right?
That's a whole playlist right there,
right?
bro.
So some people, like, yeah, that's like 2008.
That's
right?
My playlist. So this day,
dude. Om Shanti Om,
keep
bro.
it real, man.
Om Shanti Om, dude. Kya Love Story here, dude. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. so Kya Love Story here. You gotta love this shit. I can't believe you remember that.
I have an insane memory, though. You know that too.
That's fantastic. So, Keikepan, there's a beat break, right? There's a beat break that comes up after the first verse and the chorus line drops. The first verse, first chorus is a beat break. It dies down. At that point, you jump on the mic and say, ha ha ha, kya love story hai.
Dude, that was like 2008?
Yeah, I still did that last weekend, my dude.
Dude, that's your, see, but that's your style, right? So like everybody has different style, right? Then we, you know, whatever.
And
so
style is key,
style
right?
is key, right?
You can't do what other people do.
You can't.
Like there's a lot of colleagues of mine, other MCs, who try to mimic what I say, what I do. And that's great. I take it as like, thank you, right? Thank you for, I want to be an inspiration. I'm flattered, right? Yeah. But I always say this, listen, learn from me, but add your own twist.
Yeah.
Add your own flair to it, because you can't talk like me. It's not going to happen. Yeah. And it's going to come off like, oh, you're trying to be like Jay.
Yeah.
You know, don't do that.
A lot of people did that. Remember like the Marco Glorious days, right? Everybody's trying to copy. Dude, everybody was trying to copy. Like I always had my own style in terms of emceeing. You know,
you got to stay true to yourself.
You have to develop your, like, you have an MC and then all of a sudden the MC's playing Dole, right?
Yeah.
And logically it's not gonna make sense, right? But when you're actually at the event, okay, you get a ton of energy from that, and like there's certain way I feel like I play a different style than some other people, whatever. But everybody has their own personality, different style of how they do the event. But yeah, like, dude, back in like 09, 10, right? A lot of people were trying to mimic everything that the USA people are doing. And I'm like, oh, this sounds so cheap. Like, dude, you're playing the same introduction song. Then Sing to Me, Thomas Gold, right? Like that intro, like way too many people use that.
There's a way to use it too. So I sometimes use Thomas Gold, but there's different cues.
There's different cues, right? But meaning like what happens is things get overused to a certain extent.
And that's
St. Elmo's, right? St. Elmo's, right? Remember that, right? St. Elmo's with people used to come in with that.
St. Elmo's fire, by the way, if you guys don't know.
In 2009, 10.
2009.
No, please do not use St. Elmo's anymore. Very, very old school. So I'm like, it's like playing Jellica de Galaja right now, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's cool, but
it's
like
a filler.
But it's okay. You know what I mean? That's a different era, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like going back on this one, I'm like, I always like learn from different people. So as initially I was like, hey, like Volcanic, whatever. Akash learned a little bit from Volcanic, right? I learned a little bit from Akash, right? Then there's Shivam. He hasn't DJed since like 2013, but So Shivam actually learned how to do beat matching from Shivam, right?
Nice.
Like the bars, right? Counting bars. Shivam, I was driving. Me and Shivam were going to Rockville, Maryland in his Toyota Camry, right?
You love your Camry.
I love the Toyota Camry. But yeah, dude. So like, I still remember it. Like, you just pick up little things from different people. So he's like, okay, like watch how this song cuts. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch, the words are gonna come in on the 8 count, right? So just picking that up, and then I realized it. So that made things easier for me, right?
Yeah.
And then it's okay. Who am I learning from next, right? Then okay, with Mike, it's been like I always learn from Mike, right? Still to this day, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily on the business side of things, but like performance wise, how do you play the music? Maybe a different style of emceeing or whatever the case is, right? But I think I always took it as
you got to be a sponge.
Yeah,
right?
you have to be a sponge. I always, even from you, I learned, okay, what is your experience like, right? This happened. Okay, then what do you do? How do you react, right? Like,
so it's your reaction, right?
Yeah.
Your reaction is key, right? Some things I feel like everything's gonna go wrong. Right? When I walk into an event, I know for a fact that if I'm gonna plan it from A to Z, which is fine, but some things are gonna go wrong. What's gonna go wrong? I'm gonna forecast it. I'm gonna try to get ahead of it before that shit even happens. It could be the music, it could be the speakers, it could be the mic. Even when I put my wedding planner hat on, it could be the delivery of the goods.
Dude, if the horse took a shit, right, and then
What are you
runs
gonna
away,
do?
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
What are you
The
gonna
horse
do?
takes a shit.
Dude, the horse took a shit, run away. What are you gonna do? Okay, somebody has a convertible, or like.
I got a horror story for you. You want to hear this? I was at Rosoy 3. It was years ago. There was a Cinderella carriage.
Yeah.
Right. The bride and groom got married. They walked outside. The whole vidai.
Yeah.
They got in the carriage, and the horse bucked. The horse bucked. It got back on his hind legs. The whole carriage went backwards.
Is it like we see in India, like in Bombay, like where they make the horse
scary,
jump?
bro.
Like,
I was just watching. I was like, holy shit, this is really happening. I took out my phone, started recording it real quick. But the unexpected.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do for the unexpected?
I mean, what's the craziest? So, this is probably a question you're gonna probably ask everybody. What's the craziest thing you've seen at a wedding?
The craziest things besides crowd surfing, besides drunk family members, then 10-minute speeches, besides the cake falling down, right?
You ever seen a guest pass away at a wedding?
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. Me and Tharan, we did. Me and Tharan did a wedding. This was in 21, right? And that was the most insane situation I've seen in my life.
At the wedding?
At the event, yeah. I'm not going to give any like details. I mean, I respect people's privacy and stuff like that, but it's like, then it puts perspective in terms of like, okay, what really matters?
I feel like this podcast took a turn for the dark, man.
No. You want to wave it off?
No, I want to continue with the story.
No, it's like, but how do you like? It was like, damn, dude, like this, I couldn't believe it, right? Because like we've done this.
Was it natural causes?
Yeah, natural causes. Yeah.
I'm assuming it's an elderly person.
Yeah, it was an elderly person, right?
So is it
not too elderly, but whatever the case is, right? Like,
but is it nice to say that they left us having a good time?
I mean, they definitely left having a good time.
Okay.
But it's just a shame, right? Like,
it is a shame. I mean, it puts a damper on the whole festivities.
Am I putting a damper on the podcast right now?
Not at all. Not at all. I feel like it's something that's going to be needed to be talked about.
Yeah, but so that it's needed. I don't think anybody has had this experience, right?
No.
Like
I had something similar. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, no. They stopped the event, obviously, right? So I had to get on the microphone. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, if there's any medical professionals, we stopped the music. This is not an emergency. This is not a joke, right? And then we had to obviously stop the reception, right? So the reception is probably, I think 8:00 was when the ballroom opened. I did the introductions. We had a dance floor going on, right?
Yeah.
I went to go to the bathroom. And then somebody was on the floor. Then people gathered around him. And I'm like, oh, this is not a joke, obviously, right?
Oh, wow.
And then I made the call. I'm like, okay, Tharan turned the music off. Beautiful wedding. Great couple. Great camp. Bro. Yeah, dude. It's like, that's, I think these kind of experiences change your perspective.
Clearly.
Like, I always was like, okay, I want everything to go perfect, right? And then you come to think about it, it's like, okay, cool. Like, the most important thing when you're getting married is like, okay, dude, do you have the people around you that love you?
What's going on, Mike?
We're gonna
go that way.
Yeah, we're gonna make this guy wait.
We're gonna make him wait for a little bit.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, I think that really changed my perspective. And like I say, I mean, I've kind of grown up in this thing, right?
Yeah.
I was like mad naive when I came into it. I was 19 years old when I started. Just started playing dole, just to make like bro, like I literally started doing this because I wanted Applebee's half price appetizers. I'm not even joking. I'm not even bullshitting you. I'm serious. Like, and you know that too, right?
Yeah.
Clifton Commons.
The one on Route 3,
Clifton Commons. Clifton
Yeah,
Commons.
Clifton Commons.
Applebee's half price appetizers after 10 p.m. Start playing Dole. I can make $200, $250. If I do like one of these a month, maybe I can make some money, you know, whatever the case is, right? And then, damn, dude, I think I'm getting a little bit better at this. Let me learn how to do the lighting, right? Then, you know, I'm gonna say Lord Voldemort, right?
Okay.
So Lord Voldemort is like, yo, I think you can MC. You got a good look, Desai. Right? So like, he put me.
You have a good look.
So whatever, right? So like that's when I had hair. So I had more hair.
What are you gonna do about your hair, bro?
I don't know. That's a different topic, different day, right?
Okay.
So less dark circles, whatever, right? So he's like, yo, I think you gotta look. I think you gotta look, right? So then put me into MC, and he's like, yo, you think you can do sales for me? I got a client. You want to talk to him, right? I'm like, all right, yeah, go ahead for it, right? And then it's like we're in the whole thing of school, like, oh, you know, business school,
Yeah.
right? We want to be professional, right? So then you're doing better at these client meetings, and then the event, you have your...
And the client's not expecting that either.
Yeah, they don't expect, because you're like a 21-year-old kid, right?
Yeah.
And you're like proper, you're well-spoken.
Yeah.
And you're not bullshitting them, you're honest, whatever the case is. And like whatever started getting better at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, whatever. So I gradually just kept learning different things, right? And then here we are, like I'm running the whole show. Like I'm running a big wedding. I'm like 21 years old or 22 years old, and like the fucking pressure's on me, whatever the case is, right?
Yeah.
So that's like one era, that beginning of it, right? And then like kind of after that, it was like, okay, obviously this team, whatever, unfortunately the team fell apart, whatever the case is, huge
personalities.
huge egos, right? I have a huge ego. I say I don't have a big ego, but you know, internally I do have an ego.
I think you have to have a big ego.
You have to have a ego
in this industry to stand out.
But be respectful with the ego.
And be humble about it.
Be humble about it,
Like
right?
the thing is, listen, I talk about this with all my guys, right?
Yeah.
Your superpower.
Yeah.
Everybody has a superpower. I have a superpower. So do you. All my dudes. I mean, you look a certain way, you act a certain way. When you're in front of all these people every fucking weekend, guess what?
Yeah.
All eyes are on you,
All
right?
eyes are on you.
So your confidence
your confidence shoots up,
goes
like,
up, right?
like crazy.
So that's your superpower.
Yeah.
And flex when you need to flex. You know what I'm saying? Don't flex all the time because you got to be humble.
Yeah.
But when you got to put somebody in their fucking place,
Yeah.
you flex.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But understand that that's not your norm.
Yeah.
And you're out of your way. You're using up so much more of your energy to flex a little bit, right? But the ego, you have a full control over that.
Yeah, dude. So like, yeah, just going back to the thing, whatever. So whatever, the team broke apart.
Yeah.
Some people stopped DJing totally. Tried doing the freelance thing for a bit. My boy Mohit, one of my best friends, right?
Yeah.
So he plays Dole too. He's like, yo, dude, why just freelance, right? Like you're gonna make, like, why are you, constraining yourself or restricting yourself, right? I'm like, all right, fuck it. Let me start freelancing. So then I started freelancing, blah, 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 on Dole. I was like, yeah, I'm kind of making the same numbers. Like there's no issue whatsoever. And then I was like, okay, you know what? Boom, let me just start my own thing. I think people are, I'm getting people that will call me.
Was it like a light switch that just went up?
I think it was a lot of it because when we were talking about before, like Nazar, right? Like there was always that, like, there was a significant amount of Nazar.
Animosity towards.
A huge animosity, right?
Yeah.
So that a lot of that was like, and certain things were just like taken out of bounds, like totally out of bounds. But, I think that was one of the best things that happened to me to a certain extent.
Yeah.
Because you get motivation from different things, right? So initially it's okay. You want to get out of an environment when you're younger, right? This environment, you're learning a business. Somebody tells you never in your life or whatever the case is, right?
Yeah.
Now, I have enough confidence to be like, yo, I can do this. You know what I mean? Like I never felt like I'm restricting myself in any way whatsoever. So like 2013, I'm like, yo, dude, my boy Anand Patel, he helped me, create some media. So started that thing and then still kept doing freelancing probably like 2014 and then 15, I got a wedding in Greece, right? So
I was going to ask you, travel a lot.
I have a lot of experience, dude.
You travel all over.
I've traveled all over the world, bro. And I don't think people realize that, meaning within our, like the Instagram, well, some people do. I think the wedding industry knows, right?
Yeah.
But the general public, I'm not gonna show it in people's face, like, oh, dude, I've been to Argentina, I've done Colombia 2 times.
Do you think
Bermuda,
that,
like
all the travel that you do and like all the cool shit that you do, that obviously that plays a role in how the vendors and the industry see you, right? Which is in a positive light. right? But moving past that, has it affected your personal life, your family life?
I have no personal life.
Like your cousins, for example.
I mean, I keep relation with everyone.
Yeah.
And I think you know my family obviously really well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know pretty much everybody, I would say. But yeah, I mean, it's a trade-off, right? Like, what are you, I would never have I went to Beverly Hills last year, right?
Yeah.
I did Beverly Hills Hotel. I had
Congratulations on that, by the way.
No, but it's like, I never, like, we're not showing it, we're not throwing it in people's face or whatever. Like, I'm not, oh my God, I've been here, right? It's just like, you just do it quietly, shut the F up, right? And you just move along with your business, do the event well, and everything kind of takes care of itself. I built a network at these kind of things. That's the biggest thing I would say. But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Like all the travel, it gives you opportunity to build a network.
Dude, can you imagine?
And that opportunity wouldn't be there.
Even you have traveled. How many? You've been to probably 30 states at least.
I've been all across this country.
Yeah, right. And it's likewise, right? Like, bro, I've been to, like, would you have ever? I went to Albuquerque, New Mexico. Never in my life would have gone to Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Breaking Bad,
dude. It's like Montgomery, Alabama. I went to Alabama twice this year.
How was Alabama?
Right? It's a freaking interesting place, right?
Sure it is.
It's it's an interesting place, right? First time I went with Jigger, right? So he's like one of my best friends.
Yeah.
So like the first time was like a Patel party in Montgomery, Alabama.
Yeah. Who would have thought that there's Patels?
Who the hell would? Yo, dude, there's Patels everywhere, dude. And then
a lot of them.
There's a lot of them too. Yeah. There's a lot of, and some of them have Southern accents, right? It's like half Indian accent, like half straight from like.
How are you doing today?
No.
How are you doing
no.
today?
I'll do it right now. So like you go into, so let's say that they own the motel or something. It's like called America's like best value inn, right?
Yeah.
There's a guy like behind the thing. His name is like Minesh Mike Patel or something like that, right? And then the guy has like a Southern accent in like Tennessee. It's like, how are you? Right? It's just like really. Yeah. It's like it'll just blow your mind away.
I'm sure.
And dude, that's what I'm saying, right? Like we get exposure to so many different types of people doing this and traveling. But to your point on the personal life, I mean, I haven't really had a strong personal life for a long time.
Do you blame the wedding industry for that?
No, because it's what you choose. It's what you choose, right?
Yeah.
So like, okay? Do you want to make money? Do you want to have a personal life? Like my boss once told me, he's like, you can have 3 out of. So Umlan is gonna watch this, Shiva, Makash, Sagar.
Yeah.
So you could in life, there's 3 things in life, right? But I'll say what my other manager told me.
Okay.
You can have money, health, or family, right? There's to pick 2 out of the 3, right? So I always say there's a trade-off. Nobody gets 100%, like Seema Taparia says. I think 66% or 70%, that's the law of average. There's trade-offs, right? Because time is a constraint for everyone, right?
100%.
I've tried to maximize every minute possible, right? And that's kind of what I realized. Do I regret it? Not necessarily.
You can't have any regrets.
I have. That's
a choice, right?
Yeah, it's a choice, right? Yeah. Like, so I always say, I'm like, dude, okay, fine. My niece's second birthday or whatever, I wasn't able to go, but I did a thing at Cipriani, right?
Yeah.
And 25 Broadway, right?
Yeah.
And okay, or my cousin's rehearsal dinner. I went to my cousin's wedding, obviously, right? But I did Thursday, I'm in Miami Intercontinental, right? And then Friday, I'm flying back. Saturday, there's a function at their house. So my fui, right? So I get to pick up the Indian food. So they had it at their house.
Yeah.
Saturday is his rehearsal dinner at Asbury Park. What's that place? Oh my God, that hotel in Asbury Park.
I want to see the Berkeley. Is it a Berkeley? No. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah,
we were there.
Right, yeah.
It was a DIY project.
Yeah, right in front of the beach, right? So in Asbury Park, right? So like Saturday, I go to I have a wedding in the freaking Boom Boom Room, right?
Yeah.
How many people have done Boom Boom Room?
I haven't done Boom Boom Room.
I took Marfati to Boom Boom Room, right?
Wow, nice.
But like it's you're not gonna get those experiences, and there's a trade off, right? And then Sunday,
that's all sacrifice, right?
It's sacrifice. It's 110% sacrifice.
I tell all my guy friends, all my dudes, all my employees, like if you want to be in this wedding industry, the word of the day is sacrifice. Yeah. If you could sacrifice your family memories, right? Like your birthday parties, your niece's like a birthday party or graduation, or like a dinner, a jammano.
Yo, right? Jammano, dude, 100%.
Anything, all those things. Like if you could sacrifice that, then you're good to go. But if you can't, then they're saying it's not for you. Go get a 9 to 5.
Yeah, no, I mean, so on the 9 to 5 too, right? Like, I mean, I've still do that, right?
Yeah.
To for lack of
you're
better
a beast, bro. You do a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say I'm a beast, but I put in a lot of sacrifice, and that the only way that like, okay, the work translated into something, and then it helped me buy certain things, and it helped change, I guess, my life, right, to a certain extent. I'm not gonna speak hyperbole or whatever the case is, right? But I think the reality is the work you put in, it translates after a while. You have to stay consistent. I'm a big believer, slow and steady really wins the race.
It does win the race. Like you said at the beginning of this whole thing, it's all about the long game, right? Do you want to be in it for the minute, right? Do you want to be in it for a while, or you're gonna come one season, you're gonna be gone the next, right? Like, what's your end goal?
What's your end goal, right?
Yeah, like my personal end goal is to make a dent in this world. You know, plain and simple. Like, I'm not married. I don't have any kids yet.
You're gonna be the next prime minister of India.
I'm gonna be the next prime minister of something.
You're gonna be Modi squared.
We were talking about something special that came across my desk. There's a new event center opening up in Union, New Jersey.
Okay.
It's called Titan.
Okay.
I got offered the role as the new director of operations and sales.
Yes. Awesome.
Thank you. So it's nice. I just had the pleasure of meeting the mayor of Union, the economic development people, last week. I took over that. The new space is opening up in August. So look out for that. It's going to be nice. Titan Union. It's going to be a good time. I'll see you guys there. Yeah, man. So, like I said before, man, we have the opportunity to do great things. Yeah. Right. Going to places that we never thought we'd be able to go. And it's all because of the wedding industry.
I just bought, I bought a watch actually. Like, I was in St. Thomas on vacation. I bought a watch, right? And there was a connection from New Jersey there, right? Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, and that's because of the wedding industry, right? Yeah. Point blank.
It's a multi-billion-dollar industry, man.
Yeah. I mean, I think things have changed a lot, I would say, in the last, like, what would you say, more so in the last 5 years, or?
Well, it was changing before COVID hit.
Yeah.
It was definitely changing before COVID hit. Like, that's one of the reasons why I also made a few moves before COVID, because I saw in the next 5 years, by 2025, I knew that micro weddings was going to be a thing, right? I kept track of all my numbers from 2001. Yeah. How many guest count, how many weddings per year.
Data matters, dude.
All that metrics,
data matters. Data matters, dude.
All that stuff. So I forecasted by 2025, we're going to have micro weddings, 100 people, 125, but the budgets are still going to be the same, right? So at that point, you want to do volume at that point, right? Because you want to do as many events as you can.
I think one of the benefits we've seen, right? I think like the fusion wedding stuff has helped us actually a lot. Yeah. I would say, because now it's like a multiplier effect, right? Because everybody wants that like Indian culture. Oh, you want to hear London Tumakada, but you also want to hear like Seaman Tov, Mazel Tov, right?
100%.
If it's like, you know what I mean? So I think.
And Bad Bunny all day right now.
Yeah, and Bad Bunny, right? So like, I think that's definitely helped us. I think also Indian culture is now more mainstream. Yeah. Way more mainstream.
Yo, how many brown people you see on TV?
A lot more.
A lot more, right?
A lot more.
On Netflix, it's all brown folks everywhere. Bridgerton? Yeah. Come on, man. Like, I see brown people everywhere, and the roles that they play aren't the background roles anymore.
I think, dude, honestly, I think in terms of like, I think we've also like made that happen and helped support that. Yeah. And in a way, we're, somewhat responsible, right? Because, okay, we've been doing weddings for the last, 15, 20, Mike's obviously been doing for like 30 years, whenever he comes on. But like, people have good experiences there, right? It's less foreign, right? So imagine before, everything Indian culture wise was, okay, you're playing dole, there's a guy that's dressed up in like a skirt or whatever, like it looks like very exotic, right? Now all of a sudden you see a guy that's playing dole or whatever the case is, and he's in a suit. Yeah, he's more relatable to you, right? So I think we helped establish that to a certain extent.
Agreed.
Especially in the entertainment scene. And then obviously these people that have come into comedy or whatever, come into media, or like starting with, I guess, the Cal Penns of the world, right? Yeah. Or even American Desi, right? You remember American Desi back in the day, dude?
Desi, yeah, absolutely.
American Desi was like amazing, bro. Like that was one of the most like
relatable
movies I've seen.
100%.
100%. Like the cars, it's like a 1998 like Honda Accord that's like lavender with no, I love them, dude. I love them.
They're gonna be a sponsor soon, man. I want to get Toyota Camrys.
Let's see, Honda Accords. Honda Accords, yo, my boy Christian Ike, shout out to him too.
Feel free to sponsor the show whenever you guys want.
Yeah. No, dude, but like that was a relatable movie in terms of like, okay, the guy's like buggy-logging to the guy, he's giving him money, right? I think Peter Kotari was in that movie too, dude.
And buggy-logging is when you touch your elder's feet.
And then they give you money.
And you get blessings along with a little cash donation. Cash back, yeah. And you could use that donation for whatever the hell you want to do.
But it was just funny, like the whole, like, that was just an era of like, Bloomfield High School Gerba, Passaic High School Gerba, and then like
Union Gerba,
Elizabeth Gerba,
Elizabeth
right?
Gerbas.
Like, and then like people getting in fights,
Expo
and like
Hall.
Expo Hall, and like that was such a different era.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
It
mean,
used to be a meat market back then. I loved going to Expo
Oh my
Hall,
God.
bro. That was the best time.
Wow.
But not anymore.
You still did the door to you or what?
I can still hold my own.
Yeah, you can still hold your
I
own.
can still hold my own. I'm
whatever.
Gujarati as they come, bro.
yeah.
I can still hold my own.
So yeah, dude, I think that's where things kind of shifted.
Yeah.
Again, right? It's just making things more relatable after a certain amount of time, and I think we've been able to do that for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Right.
As a leader.
It's what's the general public seeing, right?
Yeah.
Most white people, right? Their experience with Indian people is either at work, or like going to a convenience store or a gas station. But now,
I was gonna say that. That's
right.
That's all they know is that form.
Is that form, right? And then you're going to a wedding, and all of a sudden, like you're hearing Indian music, or
And you see a bunch of rock stars up there.
I don't want to give us too much credit, but like
No, you got to give credit where it's due sometimes. I mean, at that point,
it's making it more relatable.
being humble is fine, right? But you're a rock star. I mean, I'm a fucking rock star. I give no shits about that. I know what I can do.
Yeah.
I know what I can do behind the booth. I know what I can do on the mic, in any form, right? Guys, we can talk about this all day long, right? We're going to save that for the next episode.
Yeah.
Right, guys, that's my time. A big round of applause for Neil. Neil, thank you for coming down,
thanks for
man.
having me on, man. Appreciate it, man.
I appreciate it. You want to go over your handles real quick?
No.
Your IG handles. He said no.
I'm good,
See, that's what being humble is all about. He's like, nah, I don't need that. Someone's going to follow me here. They're going to find me. If they want me, they're going to find me. That's exactly what it is, right?
That's a reality.
If you want me, you're going to find me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Once again, thank you for joining us on the Jay Rana Show. I'll see you on the next one. Let's talk about it.
Later.